Black is a fascinating colour to mix. In this video I share with you my techniques and tips, starting with the outline, the underdrawing, the rich colour stage and the detail stage. Be sure to watch it right through till the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down in real time for you to take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. Right, for the outline I'm using a quarter grid here, and then finding the location of things by using angles. So just see everything as shapes and loosely does it to start with, so very lightly on the pastel mat. It's a 708 Pastel Pencil, dark grey I'm using. So focusing on the large shapes, getting the overall feel of the subject, and then work from one shape to another, just so see it as shapes rather than feathers or eyes or beak, and then that will keep you calmer then. Another important thing is to actually keep the reference image small enough so you see the whole subject. That way you don't get a distorted view of it then, because if it's too blown up it can sort of go out of proportion. So keeping everything nice and light first, and then once you're happy with the placement of it, then you can go and firm it up. So then you can change it up by using a needle razor as well, just to shape things and then tidy everything up you put in. So it's loose to start with, and then tidying it up with the details and the positions. The more you can do at this stage, the easier it'll be with the underdrawing. Now, keeping things nice and simple for the underdrawing, it's using black, Payne's grey and white, and then glazing over with the primaries using two different yellows. Starting off then by ghosting the outline with a Faber-Castell needle eraser, and then just going over the marks now and reshaping the outline, putting basic form in there. So at this point I'm not interested in getting the colour right, the value, the temperature or the edges. It's all about getting those shapes in the correct place and just basically building up a roadmap for when you're putting all those nice rich deep colours in. Now I've added a bit of white there initially for the background because it's very light background anyway, so just adding that white first, and when I glaze over, that white will shine through the colour later on. You'll see me doing that. I love doing the underdrawing stage because it's a chance to be loose and free flowing, and just using those simple colours, black, Payne's grey and white, it just takes all the stress out of it, because it's just like doing a pencil drawing really. You just getting those positions right and everything can be glazed over top with the colour of this, which I'll show you later on. Same here with the branch, just using simple colours, brown, olive green and burnt sienna. It's a good idea to keep sharpening your pencil as well, especially when you're doing stuff like these claws. So when you're burnt sienna again, brown, bit of black in there, and just moving things around till it starts to shape up, and obviously the white as well to tint it. It's only preparation, because all the details and all the subtleties be put in later on. If you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Now, I like to work on the whole subject, so here and there I'll be moving around. So I might be working on this area and then all of a sudden I'll go into the background like I'm doing here. It's just to keep a balance to things and you don't get too wrapped up in one area at a time. This is how I like to work. It keeps it nice and fresh then, I feel. Just running through quite quickly on the underdrawing. I'll spend more time in real time in the rich colour stages, but what I'm doing here is just putting that Payne's grey, bit of burnt sienna and white, and basically that, and a little bit of black here and there, and that's all it is really, just to get the basic sort of structure and shape in there. Now for this part of the branch, just using a bit of lemon yellow and burnt sienna to create a golden colour here and there, and then brown and dark blue to create like a black at this stage, and then just simple marks really. Colours the background, I'll be using these here, and the rest will be these colours. Again, I'll be running through this pretty quick because I want to mainly focus on real time on the feathers and that, so we can see how I do that. But I'm just going through here first. It's almost like an underdrawing to start with, you're just basically getting the shapes in there like we normally do. But I'm going straight in now with the rich colours. So I'm using a Caran d'Ache, like a lemon and white colour there, just putting that in, more pigment. Using olive green and burnt sienna to create natural shadows, because it's complementary. Using like a burnt sienna is like a reddish colour against the green, and it causes like you grey it down, so it desaturates it. Now I'm using a colour here which is very similar to what I'm looking for, and it's light enough so when I do glaze over the top, that colour will shine through and it creates a glow then. So I'm putting the white down and fresh colours, and then glazing over the top with the burnt sienna, yellow ochre here, or lemon yellow, and it creates a feeling like it's glowing because that white will shine through all these colours I'm glazing over the top, and that's how I create that sort of glow to my work. And it's just really lovely to do with this sort of really fresh, bright background. I love doing things like this, especially things that glow. And how I do that is just to, like I say, just putting that white down first and then glazing over the top. Now I tend to use my fingers to blend the colours, but if you're not comfortable doing that, a cotton bud works perfectly, but just keep it very, very light. Don't go too hard with the cotton bud, or else it brings out all the pigment from the tooth, and you don't really want that. Sometimes you need to add that little bit of a stick because it's really saturated in pigment, and it gives that more of a glow then, more of a sort of vibrant feeling to it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just have to play with it. But then just go around the edges as well, just softening those up with the cotton bud. If you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It would mean so much to me, as this would help the channel to grow. Here's a collection of pencils I'll be using for the rich colour stage details on the bird and a little bit more on the background, so it just gives you an idea again of the pencils used. Now I'm pressing on more now with the pencil just to add more pigment to the pastel mat, just to give it depth. On the beak here I'm using burnt sienna, lemon yellow, which creates a gold. And then for the shadow of the beak there, I'm just using that Payne's grey, which it's like a purpley colour anyway, so it sort of goes well with the yellow to create the shadow. And it's a case of just keep playing, persevering until it starts to shape up. But this is just a block-in first when I'm doing the rich colour stage. Later on I'll be putting details and subtleties, so I'm just really blocking it all in just to make sure overall it feels right before I start putting the details in. So for the eye here, I'm using a bit of orange, burnt sienna and brown just to create the correct sort of shade. I'm trying to get the value something like at this stage and the chroma, but the details will all be put in later, like I just mentioned. Now for the pupil, I'm using black, and then I always add something to the black, so I'll be putting a bit of blue in here, which is dark ultramarine, which gives that black depth there. But there's a lot more detail I need to put into that, but you'll see me do that later. So persevering is the key. Keeping your pencils really nice and sharp as well will make a difference. For the highlight here, I'm using the Caran d'Ache Flesh Tint, it's called 042, and that really does give it that sort of vibrancy I need. And it's ready mixed pencil, and it's just the right combination of red and yellow ochre and a little bit of blue with it. Around the eye I'm using black, but I always put something with the black because black looks a bit dead on its own, so I'm adding that Payne's grey with it. Now some areas have got more chroma as well, more glow, so I'm using the vermilion from the Caran d'Ache and the lemon yellow, which will create a real zingy colour. Now I'm squinting the eyes to see the values and opening the eyes to see the colour, and you'd be surprised how many different purples and all sorts of colours are in the actual black. The more you open up to it, the more your eyes will see it, and it's really fun to do to get that subtlety and to make it look like, almost like velvety, really. Just like to take this opportunity to thank all my patrons for the wonderful support every month. I can't thank you enough. It really means the world to me. If you're interested and considering joining me on Patreon and would like the benefit of longer, slower and more in-depth videos, please check out the link in the description below for more details. Most of the uploads I do now is all in real-time audio, real-time video, so you get to see all the footage and to hear me talking as I proceed, and you get a really nice flavour to how I achieve my results. So if that interests you, after you watch the video, just please take a look. The link is there in the description for you. Right, just slowing it down a little here, just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm putting the white down first, so tinting what's already there, and then glaze over again with the Payne's grey, and then continue right through, and then using the burnt sienna with the Payne's grey to create those natural subtlety of shades changes, and it creates a little bit of a glow as well. Now to create the glow here, I put the white down, then I'm glazing over with burnt sienna and then yellow ochre or sometimes lemon yellow, but just to create that sort of glow over the white, because there's like a reflected light at the side of the blackbird there. Now this still is a block in. You can see it's quite contrasty at the moment. I will be subtling it up later on to make it look really velvety, so please stick with it. It will change and improve as you see it towards the end of the video. But again here I'm just putting those values, trying to get the correct values, playing with the colours. Perseverance is the key, and just relax and just focus on bringing the energy of the bird into your heart, and then just let it flow and just enjoy the play of these colours. I'm using light ultramarine there over the highlighted areas underneath, and that's made it glow a little bit more. Now this is my interpretation, so I'm not putting exactly the same amount of feathers in there and detail. It's just my interpretation of it. Right, starting on the claw there, I'm using ultramarine pink from the Caran d'Ache range. Then decided to actually focus on the branch there, so I'm using several different greens, burnt sienna, blues, just to create the colour I'm looking for, and the 110, which is grey white, which is a handy pencil in the Carbothella range for the greyish colours on the top there. Right, so I'll give me pencils a good sharpening up and run with the details here. There's loads of details in there, and it's about what not to put in, so I'll make it very simple. I'll just simplify the details just enough to make it believable and realistic, but not trying to put every little thing exactly the same. It's just my interpretation at the end of the day, so I keep stepping back and having a look, and just to see if it looks believable or not. But it's very difficult with pastels to get that amount of very small details in such a small area, because it's only a 7x7 inch study. I see it as like a painterly style, where it's just a suggestion or a little bit of colour here and there, just a little blob of colour, and it just makes a difference. When you stand away from it, it looks detailed, but when you look close, it's very sort of painterly. Right, so now it's time to get everything looking velvety and soften it all. So I'm using the light ultramarine with burnt sienna, with the Payne's grey, but I'm using a 110 here, which is the white grey, which will actually grey it up a little bit or desaturate it enough to create that sort of velvety or flatter feel to it. So that's what I used there. Just slowing it down to real time here, just to show you how I'm putting that glow where there's the sort of reflected light onto the feathers there, using the tint, flesh tint from Caran d'Ache, putting that in, then using Faber-Castell, mixing that with it to create even more brighter, fresh colour. If you would like to know more about colour and how the complementary colours play a big part in getting the desaturation and the feeling of reality or realism with it, I have got a free class for you. The link is in the description below. You're welcome to it. So once you've seen this video, if you pop down in the description below it, and you'll find the link there. The background is similar to what we did before, just blocking it in first, getting an idea where the shapes are, and then just tidying it all up, and then softening it up then either with the white or the 110. Highlights using the Faber-Castell white. The shadows here is brown and burnt sienna. Using dark green now with burnt sienna just to create that depth of shadow there. And then the 110 there just to create that edge, that sort of blurred edge. And using my finger all the cotton bud in places. Now I'm using a bit of lemon yellow to give it a bit of zinginess here and there. It's just a case of playing with it and just feeling your way, and if it feels right, you know it's right. If it doesn't feel right, it needs attention, and that's what I go by. I don't overthink it, I just feel it. Thank you so much for watching the video right till the end. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It would mean so much to me, as this would help the channel to grow. It's been really fascinating to do, something different to what I normally put on, which is portraiture. What you gain from doing different subjects, it's surprising how it comes in handy when you're doing your portraits. You might have a background to do, or you might even have some birds to do in a portrait. So it's really handy to experiment with different things, and you learn a lot more about the colour as well. If there's any questions at all, please leave a message in the comment section below this video, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But in the meantime, if you would like to see more of my work, please check out this video here. Take care. Bye.